Hi everyone and welcome back to a brand new video here on the channel. I thought I would just do a little making of video to do with the video that we recently put out, which was a brief history of Star Tours. A number of you watched it and thank you so much for watching it and thank you so much for sharing it and putting so many comments on it. It was amazing. It really blew us away, and like the work that I put in it was just all worth it to raise a few smiles and to hear your lovely comments. So yeah, we thought we would do a little making of video, nothing too in-depth, just talk you through like how I came up with the ideas and then sort of roughly tell you about how we sort of did some of the effects. I am by no means an expert when it comes to effects. Everything that I did was just within Final Cut. It didn't involve any plugins, mainly because I didn't want to spend any money. Although I did spend money on one item, which I'll tell you about a little bit later. So why did I settle on Star Tours? It actually starts with me getting a job doing online teaching, teaching English as a foreign language, and I bought this headset. And this headset it was like a gaming headset, and it had a microphone. And then somebody on Instagram said to me, you look like you should be doing the line, "Great kid, don't get cocky," from Star Wars, or could you like try and do that as a catchphrase within one of the quizzes, I think it was. And so what I did was I just recorded a video for Instagram where I did that line with the headset, and then that's when I started thinking, ooh, it would be quite nice to recreate scenes from Star Wars in front of a green screen and then do a video around a Star Wars ride for the next brief history. And then it was like, well, which Star Wars ride should we pick? Because there's loads now. But let's start with the first one, because I love nostalgia, and Star Tours is a very, very important ride for me and Helena. We just love that ride. It's like one of the first rides that we went on, I think, as a couple in a Disney park. So yeah, we settled on Star Tours. And then the initial ideas that I had, so yeah, I thought about recreating scenes from movies, and then I thought about recreating scenes maybe from the ride, and this is actually where I brought in Helena, and I said, would you mind being in the brief history of Star Tours? Helena said yes. The original pitch for Helena was, I'm thinking of recreating the safety video, and you know, within the safety video there's Chewbacca who gets scared by the Flash, which is my favourite part. And so I thought about doing the scene with Helena where I would take a photo, probably from like the settee or something, and then Helena would crop up from behind the sofa, and Helena has this zip-up jumper that looks like a bear. You see where I'm going with this? And so Helena would crop up behind and be Chewbacca. And then I started thinking about what do you normally associate with Star Wars? You normally have somebody using the Force. You normally have somebody who's a hologram, you normally see some blaster effects, and you normally see somebody with a lightsaber. So I wrote down those effects, then I started researching all the information. The way that I do that is I go to numerous websites, numerous blogs, I watch numerous videos on YouTube, and then once I've got the facts together, it's about putting the facts into my own words in a way that I can present it to camera. So then once I had like all the research, it was then about trying to develop the story, the side project. And if you haven't seen the actual brief history of Star Tours video, I suggest you stop watching now, because I'm about to give away spoilers. So if you don't want to spoil the video, then go and watch it first and then come back. So I came up with a side plot and then went back to Helena and said, this is quite different to what I originally pitched. Would you still like to be in it? I'm thinking of making you a Jedi. And originally it was only the opening scene, the Baby Yoda thing, and then it grew from there as I like wrote bits of the script. So Helena said yes, and still didn't really know exactly how involved she was going to be until like when we started shooting. Though she had seen bits of test footage that I'd done. And that's an important part of the videos as well. Before I actually start filming them, I need to make sure that all the effects work. So as you'll see from the clips here, these are like the test runs of effects that I did for this video. So I'll test that Baby Yoda can actually float. I will test that I can actually do a lightsaber effect, roughly. Like, I don't do them to the same degree as I do within the final video, but it's to know that I can roughly do them for when I come to actually edit the main video. Shooting the video didn't take that long, actually. It took, I think, 2 days in total. So we did the majority of the scenes in one day, and we saved the lightsaber battle. We saved that for another day because we felt that that was going to be quite a big bit to shoot. We shot everything just on a Canon G7X Mark II, don't have any fancy equipment. It was a combination of the Canon G7X Mark II, softbox lights that we have, and then using audio, recording audio through our Rode NT USB microphone. So we're not a high-tech operation by any means. We're just using exactly what we've got to hand. But not everything always went to plan when we were filming. Of course, there were moments where I'm terrible for giggling, or things just go wrong, or you forget what you meant to say. So yeah, there are a few outtakes and bloopers. So I thought at this point we'll put in those bloopers for you.
Oh, sorry, I looked in the camera. I'm so used to looking at the camera. Here you are.
Thank you. Just backward.
Here you are.
Thank you. Remember the line?
Called like justification of deep.
What did you say it was called? I'll just do it one more time because I went very high pitch.
I'm sorry, I didn't realise
I've got to come after you. I've got to come after you. Right, what's next?
Okay, I'm off now. My phone's. Sorry, I forgot what I was saying. Oh no.
Wait a minute, Butch.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to look out the window first. Close up on Miss So.
Well, there should be an email titled Imperial Destruction. No.
Oh, you're back. Oh, you're back.
It's hard to do it. How do you do it again?
Okay, so let's now have a look at sort of how we put together some of the effects. So the first scene that needed to have some effects was Baby Yoda floating, Helena using her Jedi powers. Something that's very important in our brief history videos is this, which is our green screen. I bought this years ago. When I was sort of late teens, I loved making fan films. I bought this green screen thinking I would do a lot more, and then I just stopped making videos. And I'm so happy that we started doing these brief history videos because finally I'm able to use this green screen and it wasn't a waste of money. So yeah, so we've got the green screen. I now had to think about how to get Baby Yoda flying or floating. I thought I need something green because then I'll be able to get rid of that green when I put it onto the computer. So I actually bought some, also I bought two items. I bought some green thread, which wasn't very much at all. I got Baby Yoda, wrapped the green thread around both of his arms, and then set up the camera, set up the lights. When doing green screen, I only have 2 lights. Ideally you should have 3, I think, is a minimum, because you're meant to light the green screen, but you're also meant to light the subject. But it's working okay with 2, might have to make the investment and get 3 at some point. So got Baby Yoda in front of the camera, and then you have to sort of imagine the scene in your head to sort of get the direction that you want Yoda or Baby Yoda to face. So I'm there holding the threads like a puppet and just trying to get like a floating movement going. So we recorded that. Only problem is, something I forgot, and I can't believe I forgot this. Baby Yoda, what colour is he? He's green. So when you first put in the effect that takes away the green for the green screen, you were losing Baby Yoda's face and his hands. So what I had to do, I don't have a blue screen, so using like the colour correction tools, I had to change the green screen to blue, but making sure that the green of Yoda's face didn't change to blue. And then once I managed to get the background to blue, I was able to then intensify the colours in Yoda to get him back to sort of the green that he was originally. So that was actually probably the trickiest thing I did in front of a green screen. And then when it came to film, I just had to describe to Helena where Baby Yoda was floating so that the eyeline was correct. And then using keyframes, which is something that I use a lot in Final Cut. It allows you to change movements or change things from frame to frame. Using the keyframes, I was able to add more of a floating effect. So you would move a frame, and if Helena's arms moved down, you would move Baby Yoda down. If Helena's arms moved up, you would move Baby Yoda up to give that impression of floating. So you took out the blue background, Yoda's then on there. There's a few more effects being put on in order to like show that he's glowing. And then there's a shape mask, which is basically a circle that you can put onto the footage, and you can change it to a colour, and it just creates a bit of a glow. So I put like a blue behind him, and yeah, that's sort of how we did Baby Yoda floating. When it comes to like all the bits where I'm presenting in front of the green screen, like I said, I've got the softbox lights. I make sure that I stand quite far away from the green screen, because if you stay too close to the green screen, you get a lot of shadow, and then that shadow is hard to get rid of, and then you'll find that you will have quite a big green glow. You will still see that you've got green around you. So I always find that it's better to stay further away from the green screen, so there's less chance of casting those shadows. And then all I would do with that is that I would present to camera, I'd then put it into the computer, I would take away the green. As you can see from the footage, when you record on a Canon G7X Mark II, I always have to say its full name, when you've got the lights on you, you look really pale. Like, really pale. So what I do is I then just colour correct slightly. So it's about adding a bit of a warmer tone to the skin colour, and then intensifying the saturation a bit so that some of that colour comes back into your face. So the next thing we did was the Millennium Falcon parked in the background outside the window. And this is an effect that actually I have used before. And so I thought it could work again. Although it was in a different room, so I wasn't sure whether it was going to work. So all it involved was putting the green screen behind the window, so that when you then put it onto the computer, you can take away that green and you can put an image in. And it actually worked. It was a bit of a struggle when I did it in Pirates of the Caribbean, but it actually worked a lot better in this video, and I'm not entirely sure why. Then we moved over to the hologram. So in order to do the hologram effect, Helena was just recorded in front of a green screen. So recorded all of Helena's dialogue in front of a green screen. Recorded Helena from the front first, but then also because the hologram is also going to be seen from the back, you then had to record the back of Helena's head as she delivered the dialogue. So we put the footage of Helena then onto the computer. Again, we take away the green screen, but then there were a lot of effects that then had to go on to Helena doing the dialogue, that I had to sort of just trial and error and figure out which ones were going to make it look like a hologram. So as you can see, if you look at the sidebar, you'll see like the numerous effects that have been put on to make Helena look like a hologram. And then once I had that, it was about how do I get that ray coming out of the watch. I'll talk about the watch in a minute. How do I get the ray coming out of the watch? And that was just using a draw mask. So that blue that you can see that is seemingly projecting Helena, that blue is actually in the entire screen, is actually on the entire clip. But what I have done is I have drawn a draw mask, which allows me to eliminate the blue from the rest of the clip and just have it in that area. And in that scene you can see that my hands are moving. So using keyframes, which we mentioned earlier, I had to make sure that Helena's clip, if my hands moved slightly, Helena would move with me, and also that draw mask that had the blue light that was projecting Helena, I had to make sure that that moved with me as well. So it was about going through each frame and making sure that they followed wherever my hands were going. This watch was given to me as a gift many years ago by my dad. I am a massive Doctor Who fan, and I don't know if anybody else spotted it, but this is a Doctor Who fob watch. This is based on the watch that is in a few episodes, and within Doctor Who, it can contain personalities, and then when you open up the fob watch, the personality comes back to the person. But I just really wanted to put it into the video. It seemed like the perfect device to have Helena sort of project out of. But then there's also a bit where I have some audio of Helena come across the clip telling me how to use this. And again, that's taken from the episode Utopia, because when the Master looks at this watch, he can hear the voices of the Master inside his head, and they're echoing. So just a little bit of trivia there for you. That's how that sort of scene was put together, paying homage to Doctor Who in a video about Star Wars. One really important thing was Helena's costume. And this, I just said to Helena, I said, have you got anything in your wardrobe that you might be able to do like a Disney bound? You know, is there anything that would make you look like a Jedi? And then Helena got out a few different items from the wardrobe, and the combination of that white flowing shirt and those trousers that are very like Jedi colour, I think, sort of like a bit like a colour of like a robe, and then the leather jacket I thought harked a bit back to Han Solo. But then something that really made the outfit was Helena was like, what should I wear on my feet? What do they wear? And Helena like watched a few clips and saw that they wore boots, and Helena went out and put the boots on, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. So the costume was all down to Helena. So now let's think about the lightsaber scene. I think it's one of my favourite bits out of anything I have ever made. And I just wanted it to be like a moment, if you were watching it, you just went, what? And I'm really hoping that it got sort of that reaction if you did watch it. And I just wanted Helena to look really cool and just be the ultimate hero. The only other thing that I bought for this video is this. Yes, I bought a lightsaber. This is Luke Skywalker's, a replica of Luke Skywalker's lightsaber. I can't get it, hang on a second. So yeah, this is the lightsaber. This is what Helena was using in the scenes, and this is what I used for reference points so that I could place like the effect over the lightsaber. So Helena performed all of the lightsaber battle stuff with this out so that I could see exactly where everything was going to be placed. So I did the test footage like you saw earlier with this, and then I also, and I'm going to insert the footage now, I also for the camera did the movements before Helena did them, and I did them really slowly, and as you can see from the video, not very gracefully, and it just doesn't look right. But you give those moves to Helena because of like her dance background, and oh boy, she made it so fluid. And that spin, so we did a few takes and I wasn't sure how to end the lightsaber scene, and I wanted like a big, you know, it's got to hit a certain point. And then on my phone I had these different screenshots from lightsaber battles from TV shows and films, and then we watched a particular scene. I can't remember which scene we watched, but in it somebody did a turn and like they hit the blaster. So Helena was just so game for it all, and as soon as I said, could you do a spin, Helena would demonstrate it, and I'd be like, yes, that's it. And then Helena did it all in one take, so we didn't cut away at any point, it all had to be in one take. So she did like this little fight choreography which just looks, in my opinion, just looks great. And then quickly also with that scene, so you've got the blaster effect from the stormtroopers, so you see that in the doorway, and then you also see it in the lightsaber fight. And the way that I did that was just, I had to create, it was using the same effect I used for the actual lightsaber, but obviously I changed the colours and I played about with opacity and some other effects. And then it was about using the keyframes again, so move it a frame, move the laser to a certain point, hit the frame to the next frame, and then move that laser to the actual point where you want it to hit on the lightsaber. And then the effect for like when the laser hit the lightsaber, I actually downloaded from a website that I downloaded a load of flames effects from when I did the Pirates of the Caribbean video. So when it comes to the lightsaber and making it glow, it was 2 different colours. So what you would do is you would create a solid colour, and then that would take up the whole screen, and you would then, using a draw mask, you could draw around where you wanted that colour to be, so then it would just concentrate it in one point. And then using the keyframes, you then, as Helena would move the lightsaber, frame by frame, you would then move it so that it matched up with where Helena was moving it to. So you've got that original colour, which is white, because the lightsaber itself is mainly white. You add some effects to that to like make it glow, make it flicker, but then you also, on top of that, you add another colour. So you copy that effect that you've got, the white that's over the lightsaber, you copy that, and then you alter some of the effects and you change the colour to whatever colour the lightsaber is that you want. So we were going to go with green, so we add the green, and then that's now glowing around the white that you've got. And because you've already keyed in all the movements with the white that you put in first, the green should just automatically now follow it. When it came to actually doing the scenes with the lightsaber moving, that was harder. Because as the lightsaber moves, you don't really see it when it moves fast, but as it sort of leaves a trail. So as the lightsaber moves, so if it's here and it moves really quickly to there, the lightsaber's still going to be here because it's got to catch up to the lightsaber being there. So using the draw mask, as Helena would move the lightsaber, I would then have to just move the lightsaber with Helena, but also try and figure out where the lightsaber would be when it's trying to catch up. And then something else that's around the lightsaber, because the lightsaber is probably going to give off a green glow, you then add a shape mask to the main clip, and you can pick a colour that that shape mask is going to project, and then you feather it out so that it blends in with the environment. And so the colour that we went for here was green. With the blaster effect, you would have red. So there's actually a red shape mask which follows the laser blast using the keyframes. It follows the laser blast as it hits the lightsaber. So yeah, that's it for the making of A Brief History of Star Tours. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching the original video as well. It has meant the world to me. It was such an amazing project to work on. I hope this video made sense. It's quite hard to, I mean, if I went into the actual, what went into the scenes, it might get a bit too technical, and I don't really want to get into that much detail. So I hope it sort of gave you an idea of how we sort of did things. If anybody has any other questions relating to the video that I haven't answered in the video, then just, because I'm just sort of doing this off the cuff, then just put down in the comments a question and then I'll get back to you. But thank you so much, and I'll try and get working on the next Brief History video. Hopefully it won't be as long between as Pirates of the Caribbean and Star Tours. So again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Toodle Pipski!